Hi everybody, can you hear me okay? How's the video, how's the audio? Loud enough, good enough? Please let me know. I'll be here to answer questions, your question until about 1:40, about 1 hour. Polling soon. Sadhu, 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 Sami, Riachi, hello Ajahn. A.V. Awashank, hi sir, Namo Buddhe. From Jojo, audio good, Thanajan. Thank you. Sammy Riachi, audio is good. How are you, Sammy? Doing okay? Been practicing meditation? From Stacy side, good. From Ligan Sam, audio is good ka, Namaskaran ka. From AV Awashang, so where from? From Thailand. Where are you from? From Wat Yannasangwararam in Chonburi province, Thailand. From Sammy, not so well Bante, very depressive. You should use the mantra to cure it. Keep reciting the mantra, forget about everything. Things don't change, but you can change your mind from depressive to become become happy. Just keep reciting the mantra or do some chanting for a while. Forget about everything. You cannot change everything anyway. Change yourself, change your mind. Recite the Buddha or do some chanting or meditate. From Ya Shanicha, Sadhu, Sadhu. From Lina Gunawan, Sadhu. From A.V. Avashan, India. Have any question, A.V.? From Sawante, Sadhu, Sadhu, Sadhu. From Chi Chin Chuan, Ajahn, if I'm not mindful, I should just practice mindfulness by chanting and should not do meditation until I am more mindful. That's right. If you cannot meditate, it means you're not mindful enough. So develop mindfulness by chanting first. From April Chai, Namaskara to Ajahn. From Paul Leung Soon. Is it necessary to do walking meditation after do sitting meditation? It's up to you. If you feel after sitting for a while you feel your muscles ache, you want to relieve your body, you can continue on with walking meditation. The more meditation you do, regardless of what position, the better will be your result. Jojo, dear Ajahn, my mom passed away. How do we cultivate in order to be with her again after this life? To be with someone again is not easy because there are so many factors that will influence our future life. So just Just send your good wishes, send your merit to her, and just don't expect anything. Maybe you will meet her again, maybe you won't. But don't let it bother you. From Abhijato, can you help me for joining higher education in Thailand? I don't think so. I'm sorry. From Kenny Lee, dear Ajahn, when reciting Bhutto, should we recite with fast or slow speed? It's up to you. If you feel doing fast speed is more effective for you, then you use fast speed. If you feel slow or speed is good for you, you use slower speed. You can adjust the speed accordingly to your wishes. And you can vary from time to time. Sometimes you do fast, sometimes you do slow. If your mind is quite agitated and restless, you might have to do faster. But when your mind becomes calmer, then you might do slower. So you have to look at your mental situation. From Mio on meditation, Yannasangwararam Ajahn. From Cake Can, Sadhu, Sadhu. Question from assistant.ajahn@gmail.com. From Narayanan S. India. When I am trying to keep body still, sometimes piti sukha arises. Sometimes piti sukha does not arise. Why are they not consistent? Because your mindfulness is not consistent. And also, the nature of piti sukha doesn't have to arise every time you meditate. Because the principal goal of meditation is for the mind to become calm, peaceful, and have equanimity, and the happiness that arises from being calm. So don't worry about it. Don't worry about piti or sukha. Worry about whether your mind can enter into equanimity or not. So just keep on focusing on your meditation object. When you meditate, don't wait for piti sukha to arise. The more you wait, the less likely will it arise. You just have to ignore and don't worry about piti sukha. Just worry about focusing your meditation object. Then whatever happens, let it happen. But eventually you will get to calm, stillness, equanimity, and happiness from equanimity. Pauline soon. Purpose of meditation is to release pain when we die or when separate body and mind. No, the purpose of meditation is to calm the mind, so that when the mind becomes calm, it will not be affected by pain or death. It can leave pain and death alone. From NG Kusalo. Good morning, good afternoon, Luang Po. How are you doing today? I am okay, thank you. Another question from Narayanan S. India. Question number 2. After my body is still for 30 minutes, should I do metta in order for piti sukha to arise? Like I said, you cannot expect piti sukha to arise all the time from your meditation. So regardless of which type of meditation you do, sometimes it arises and sometimes it doesn't arise. Because the principal recipient of meditation is calm, peace, and equanimity. So this is what you should aim for. Your mind becomes still, peaceful, as equanimity and happy. From Jojo, dear Ajahn, by sending merit, do you mean by reciting Ettavata every day or after doing good deeds? After you do charity, after you uh, give something to somebody, make somebody happy, do charity, do dana, then you can uh, dedicate this merit for the people who passed away. Sammy Riachi, I am feeling repulsed by the other sex. Is that reason enough to decide to become a monk for life? It depends on what kind of repulse you have. If you see repulse because of the repulsive nature of the body, it will drive you to become a monk because you would then have to seek another kind of happiness. That's the happiness arising from meditation. But if you are repulsed by the other sex for some other reason, then this can be considered to be anger, defilement. So you should not be repulsed because out of anger, uh, you be repulsed by seeing that the body is dirty, the body uh, is not looking, not good looking, not attractive because of all the other parts inside the body. From Toy เสริมสุขพี่กับนมัสการพระอาจารย์ From Evin Awashian, thank you sir. We wish from land of Buddha, India. See you later. Thank you. Bye bye. NG Kusalo. NG Kusalo. Long Po, may I know whether there are 3 types of concentration? There are 3 types of samadhi. The first one is called the Kanika samadhi. The second is called Appana samadhi. And the third is called Upajara samadhi. Kanika and Uppana samadhi are the same type of samadhi, differ in the duration. If the mind becomes calm briefly, it is called Kanika samadhi. If the mind becomes calm for a long period of time, it is called Appana samadhi. These 2 types of samadhi is the 4th jhana. And the 3rd type of samadhi called Upajara samadhi. This is the type of samadhi that can have psychic power, have the ability to connect with the spiritual beings. This type of samadhi is what the Buddha uses when he gave Dhamma talk to the spiritual beings, to the Devas. He used the Upajara samadhi. But for people who practice beginner, people who hasn't yet become enlightened, they should not get involved with Upajara samadhi. They should not get involved with psychic powers because they can become misled and be used by the defilement to satisfy the defilement desire. So for those who hasn't yet become enlightened, who is still developing samadhi, they should stick to the 2 types, Kanika samadhi and Appana samadhi. First, when you first started, you will get Kanika samadhi. The mind will become calm briefly. But after you develop more mindfulness, the mind can then become calm for a longer duration. You just try to develop this second type called Appana Samadhi because it has Ubekkha. Upachara Samadhi doesn't have Ubekkha. You need Ubekkha to support the development of wisdom or Vipassana, to get rid of your defilements, to become enlightened. Falling soon, I am facing sleepiness when meditate. How to solve? I think we prepare sleep well before meditate or take bath. Well, when you feel sleepy, you should get up and do walking meditation. If you sit, you will fall asleep. So get up and walk, do walking meditation if you can have a place to walk. Secondly, you should reduce your food consumption. Try to reduce about half of what you normally eat. Then your body will not become heavy with food. Then it won't become sleepy. Or if you can find a place that is scary, somewhere that will make you feel afraid, then you will not have any sleepiness, like going to a cemetery or going into the forest. This is how meditators deal with the sleepiness. From Mary Ann, Sadhu, Sadhu, Sadhu. From Dylan Elvis, Sadhu, Sadhu, Bante. How would you explain the four elements? Would you describe them as one, the four base elements of matter, atom, molecule, or two, different states of matter as solid, liquid, gas, or three, a sense of different qualities like stiffness, hardness, softness, that's perceived by us when our body makes contact with them. For instance, if you take the Patavi or the nature of the earth element, we experience this when we walk mindfully, when our feet touch the ground. Well, the four elements, they are just like the name indicates, the earth element. The earth element is the earth that you walk upon, the earth that you plant your vegetation. You need to have the earth, the soil. Then the water element is the water that we have, like in the ocean, in the streams, in the river. This is water element. The air or the wind element is the one that we breathe in and out. And the fire element is the heat in our body or the heat from the sun. These are the four elements. When they combine, they then create things like plant, vegetation, trees, and human bodies and animal bodies. The difference between human and animal bodies from the trees, from the vegetation, is that the human and animal bodies have the fifth element, which is the knowing element, attached to it. While the vegetation, the trees and the plants, they only have the four elements. They don't have the fifth element attached to it. From Cornell Kennedy, dear Ajahn, what is the difference between monks who run the monastery versus monks who stay in the monastery? Previous life, what they did, which is better? See, a monastery needs someone to be the head. See? And normally the most senior monks become the head of the monastery. And he runs the monastery. While the rest of the other monks then just stay and be like a disciple to that monk. usually the senior monk also have Dhamma, so he can teach Dhamma to junior monks. There is nothing has to do with previous life concerning whether you are a monk who runs a monastery or not. And it's not. It has nothing to do with being better or not better either. Sometimes you just become the head monk because people respect you. People want to learn Dhamma from you, so they let you be the head monk and run the monastery. And the other monks then just become student monk, study from the head monks. It's a teacher-student relationship. From Chi Chin Chuan, Ajahn, can you explain in the Satipatthana Sutta the third contemplation of mind and fourth contemplation my objects? What are the differences? Can you give example? I'm not sure what you're talking about, the third and the fourth. The third is the citta, contemplation, and the fourth is the Dhamma, concentration, according to the Pali. The third is contemplation on the changing nature of the mind. The mind still keeps changing from being happy to sad, from being upset, from being calm to become agitated, and so forth. This is the third contemplation. Contemplate or study the changing nature of the mind state. While the fourth is the investigation or the study of the Dhamma that exists in the mind, such as the Four Noble Truths, mindfulness, samadhi, wisdom. These are Dhamma objects that we study, whether we have it in our mind or not when we practice. So if we don't have mindfulness, we have to develop mindfulness. If we don't have samadhi, we have to develop samadhi. If we don't have panya, we have to develop panya. Because we need samadhi, mindfulness, panya to become enlightened. On Uma Kelbua, Sadhu Sadhu, from Cornell, Tennessee. Dear Ajahn, let's say there is someone who offers Ajahn a new monastery in another town or other country. How would Ajahn respond? Well, this is a theoretical question, and I don't know yet how should I respond. So I have to skip this question. From Cornell, Tennessee, dear Ajahn, how should a monastery in town develop Buddha Sasana? What kind of program should the committee arrange and develop more? Well, you have to develop the three practices, dana, encourage people to give dana, to support the monks who live in the monastery, and then arrange for meditation program, and arrange for Dhamma talks by asking the monks to give Dhamma talks, or study the Dhamma from the Sutta, for instance. These are the three practices one should have in the monastery. Dana, to charity, support the monks, support the monastery, and then have meditation retreat, and also having Dhamma talk or Dhamma study. These should be the three practices in a monastery, regardless of whether it's in town or in the forest. From Varit Kitsong Samkun, พระอาจารย์ Why I can holding emotion about an anger easier than a sadness? They use the same technique. Yes, you use mindfulness, and maybe it depends on what kind your attachment. Sometimes you have stronger attachment, then you find it harder to get rid of it. It depends on how strongly you are attached to a certain thing. So regardless of what type of emotion, you need mindfulness, you need sati. Keep, when you're angry or sad, just recite Bhutto, 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 Bhutto. If you want to use panya or wisdom, you have to find out the reason for your anger or your sadness, which is usually your desire to get something. When you want something and you don't get it, you become angry. You're sad because you have lost something and you want it back, for instance. So if you can give up your desire, then you can overcome your anger and sadness permanently. From Gina Te, Satu Ajahn. Another question from assistant.ajahn@gmail.com. From Yeo Fu T, Yeo Fu T, Malaysia. Is anatta, no self, subjected to the law of impermanence? No, see, anatta is another feature of all things. Everything that we can see or we can touch or feel or hear are anatta. There is no self in them. They are natural phenomena. They are natural phenomena, like the wind, like the weather, like the sun, the rain. There is no self in these things. And they are also impermanent. They keep changing. They can rise and cease, come, appear and disappear. This is the nature of all things that we come into involved with, such as our body or other people's body, or possession, or everything that exists on this earth. They are all anatta. From NG Kusalo Longpo, thank you for the explanations. From Anne Lim Chi, Satu, Satu, Satu. From JJ, is it better to find a job that is less stressful and less paying? My job is currently stressful, but the pay is good. You just have to decide which one do you want, more money or more stress. So it's up to you. Some people like more money and they don't mind the stress. Some people don't need more money and they don't like the stress. So they choose the less paying money because it's less stressful. So it's up to you. You have to decide for yourself which is better for you. From Belinda Liu, Satu Satu. Tanajan, after speaking with you, I have recovered from the hip soreness. Very happy to hear that. Somebody mentioned that she can help you with your soreness. I'm not sure have you read her comment. But if you're well now, then I'm very glad to hear. But don't be complacent because it can come back again. So because this is the nature of the body, it's changing all the time. From sickness to wellness, from wellness back to sickness again. So when sickness comes, just face it and embrace it, and stay calm, and you'll be okay. From Lost Today, God, sir, my marks are really bad. I am getting suicidal thoughts. You get suicidal thoughts because you have so much desire for for things and for people or things. When you don't get what you want, you become depressed, unhappy. So you want to kill yourself. So what you should do is reduce your desire. You desire for things, for people, and try to calm your mind by reciting a mantra, Bhutto, Bhutto, Bhutto. Uh, When your mind becomes calm, then you can have some happiness in yourself. Then you don't need to have so many things from so many from so many from people or things. Then you won't have any disappointment, and then you don't feel suicidal. So try to meditate, try to chant or recite Bhutto Bhutto. Then your mind will become calmer, and you'll become happier, and then your suicidal thought will disappear. From Belinda Liu, thanks so much. From Grave Aldrich, hello Ajahn, the one who observes is the one who teaches the citta, which is defiled. Is that correct? Yes, the one who observes or the one who knows uses the teaching of the Buddha to teach the mind, which is defiled, to become pure, to become undefiled. From Kek Yen So, greeting Tanajan. Thanks for your teaching and guidance. You're welcome. From Gastian Pribadi, Namo Buddhaya Ajahn. I want a question about Four Noble Paths. Please Ajahn explain. Many thanks. The Four Noble Truths is the truth that exists within the mind, within our mind. The first truth is dukkha or suffering. Our mind is constantly being affected by suffering or dukkha. Unhappiness is considered dukkha or suffering. The mind keeps being unhappy all the time. The mind becomes depressed, the mind becomes sad. This is dukkha. This is the first truth that exists in our mind. And the second truth is the cause of our unhappiness, our sadness. The Buddha said they arise from our cravings or desire. When we have craving or desire, our mind becomes restless and agitated. And when we cannot get what we want, we become sad or depressed. The third noble truth is called the cessation of suffering, the cessation of sadness or stress. This is another truth that happens because sadness or unhappiness doesn't last forever. It keeps rising and ceasing. When it ceases, it's the third noble truth, the cessation of suffering. And the fourth noble truth is the path, or the means of getting rid of our dukkha or sadness or unhappiness. And if we have sadness and unhappiness, we can get rid of by using the path, which is the practice of sila, samadhi, and panya, morality, meditation, and wisdom. So these are the Four Noble Truths that exist in our mind. But normally we don't have the fourth Noble Truth. That's why we have to develop the fourth Noble Truth. We have to develop sila, samadhi, and panya. With sila, samadhi, and panya, we can get rid of the second Noble Truth, which causes the first Noble Truth. When we get rid of the second Noble Truth, we can also get rid of the first Noble Truth, and then we can bring about the third Noble Truth, the cessation of suffering. From Lily Siswanto, greetings from LA, Ajahn. Great to see you well and healthy. There has been a lot of fires in California from north to south, praying for all beings to be well. This is anicca, dukkha, anatta. This is the nature of the world. Sometimes it's consumed by fire, sometimes it is consumed by water, sometimes it is consumed by earthquake, sometimes it is consumed by storm. Because this is the way the world works. The world is made up of the four elements: water, earth, water, fire, and wind. So these four elements will sometimes exhibit itself. Like in California, you have the fire element and the wind element working. See? So you got a lot of fire. In other parts of the world, you get earthquakes, or you get tsunami, you get flooding. These are all the working of the four elements. This is how the world we live in works. So we should not get upset or wish them to go away, because this is the way it is. It's anicca, dukkha, anatta. Anatta means we cannot control them. They are the work of nature. From Po Liang Soon, is it true different chant to do to calm and solve the problem? Normally chanting is to calm your mind, that's all. It doesn't solve any problem. Unless you understand the chant, the meaning of the chant, it might solve problem. Like if you chant metta, and if you understand the meaning of metta, then you can solve the problem of anger. Like you're angry at someone, and the chant of metta says you have to forgive. You have to forget what the person say or did to you. So if you can forgive or forget, then your anger will disappear. From Kim Echua, Sadhu, Sadhu. From Dylan Alvis. So do you mean that Patavi or earth element refer to soil? Yes, soil or anything solid in the soil, like minerals, gold, silver, metal. These are all considered to be the earth element. Anything that is solid. And apo or water element refers to water. Yes, anything that's liquid is considered to be water element also. Apo is water. Water is liquid. So anything that is liquid is usually made from water or composed of water. Does that mean water is only consists of water element? When the water, no, sometimes it has some other element in it. Like when you have a soft drinks with bubbles, that means you have the air element, and you have sugar, which is the solid element contained in the water. So you have other elements contained in the water also. But sometimes you also have pure water. Like your drinking water is usually pure. It has no air element. It doesn't have any uh, solid element except some really fine solid element we call mineral. When you drink mineral water, you have some solid in the water also. But basically, when we say water, we mean pure water. Air, we means pure air. Fire, we means pure fire. Earth, we means pure earth. But sometimes they do mix with other elements. I hope you understand. From Chong Taiwan, Sadhu, Sadhu. Ajahn, I had learned so much from your talk since 1 year plus back, but I had no chance to pay respect to you, which is really full of gratitude. You can pay respect right now. You don't have to come here physically. You pay respect with your mind, your thoughts. So you can just write and say, I wish to pay respect to you. Then you don't have to travel all the way to come here. And the Buddha said the best way to pay respect to a teacher is follow his teaching. This is what we call Patibat Bucha. You pay respect to the Buddha by following the teaching of the Buddha. You don't have to go to India to pay respect to him there. The Buddha said, pay respect by following my teaching. Practice my teaching. From Somiko Suki Hotu. Thank you. From Bodhiin. Sadhu. Sadhu Pante. From Lily Siswanto. Vandami Ajahn. Thank you for your teaching. From Nila Don. Sadhu, sadhu. See, right now I'm taking in the water element. See, this is just pure water. The body constantly needs to refuel the four elements. Breathing in and breathing out is taking in the air element or the wind element. Drinking water is taking in the water element. Keeping the body warm is maintaining the fire element. And eating food is taking in the solid or the earth element. In order for the body to survive, to exist, it has to be constantly supplied with the four elements. Another question from assistant.ajahn@gmail.com from Marudi Agumko, Indonesia. Question number 1. I've been practicing meditation for 30 minutes daily for 2 years, as my wife has always been around me for 24 hours. How can I convince her to allow me to learn meditation more so that I can reach to the next stage? I don't know, you just have to talk to her, I guess. Just ask her for permission. Talk to her nicely. Tell her that it's like watching television. So instead of watching television, you would like to close your eyes and meditate. So you would like to have the time. I think if you talk nicely to her, I think she will understand. Tell her that this is the way to make yourself happy. And if you are happy, then you will love her more and stay with her longer. See? So you have to convince her that allowing you to do more meditation is in her benefits also. Question number 2. My sex drive has been lowered by about 80%. Is lower sex drive considered as the benefit of meditation and as a sign of the progress in my meditation? Yes. The more you advance in your meditation, then the less desire you have for the sensual pleasure, such as sex, because you find happiness from being peaceful and happy inside. Okay, I hope I answered both of your questions. From Sammy Bianchi. Most of the time I feel exhausted, and no matter how much rest I take, I don't feel rested. Do you have advice how I can be more energetic? That's because your mind is not peaceful and happy. So you have to make your mind peaceful and happy by developing mindfulness. Stop your mind from thinking. Because when your mind thinks, your mind becomes heavy. You bear the burden created by the mind. When you think about something, it makes you feel heavy-hearted. So you should stop thinking about other things. Try to make your mind empty or blank. Then your mind will become light and easy and peaceful and happy. Then you feel rested, even though you might not have sleep for many hours. Once your mind become peaceful and calm, it also become energetic also. So do meditation, do mindfulness. Don't worry about a lot of other things that you have nothing to do with or have any control over with. Just just meditate and just look after your body. That's all you need to do. Don't worry about the rest of the world, the rest of the country. It's not your business. Your business is to look after your mind and body. Your mind, you have to meditate. You have to use mindfulness. Your body, you have to give it the four elements. Give it food, give it rest, give it exercise, for instance. Another question from Marudi Agumko, Indonesia. This is question number 3. How do I satisfy my wife when my sex drive has reduced by 80%? Has this caused a relationship issue in the marriage? It depends whether your wife has has a lot of sexual desire or not. If she doesn't have, she might be happy because then she doesn't have to work so hard to satisfy you. So it depends on your partner. If she has strong desire and you cannot satisfy her desire, then this can be a problem. But if she has no desire and she's happy for you not to have any sexual drive, then she can have a rest. She can rest more. Then it won't be an issue in your marriage. It depends on both of you whether you have the equal sex drive or not. If one or the other has more than the other, then that can be a problem. Question number 4. Is having good time with my wife bring negative effect to my meditation practice progress? Yes, because you will be distracted from your meditation practice. So you cannot advance in your practice because you have to spend time with your wife. From Eileen Low, Sadhu Sadhu. From Pauline Soon. Naturally, human is born to marry with male and female, and rebirth to create dukkha for all beings, and is need to walk through to survive. Am I right? Because our mind are uh, still have the 3 cravings: the craving for sensual gratification, craving for being, and craving for not being. As long as we have these 3 cravings, we will keep reborn, and then to have family, to have husband, to have wife, to have children, and then to suffer through the aging, sickness, and death of the body. If we want to stop this process, then we have to get rid of our cravings by the practice of dana, sila, and samadhi and panya. Dana, sila, and pavana. Another question from Marudi Agumko, Indonesia. Question number 5. In this era, why does the husband need to get permission from the wife and kid before he ordains? While during the Buddha's time, Prince Siddhartha didn't seek permission when he left the palace to seek for enlightenment. Because during the time of Prince Siddhartha, there was no Buddhism yet. Buddhism happens after Prince Siddhartha became a Buddha. And then when people come to ask for ordination, at first he didn't ask people to ask permission from their parents. But after many people complained about their son becoming monks without their permission, so they went to the Buddha to ask for the Buddha to set up this requirement that before somebody can become a monk, they has to get the permission from parents, not husband or wife. You have to get permission from your parents, because people who ordained were young, were still considered not mature enough to decide for themselves what is right or wrong for them. So they should seek the advice from their parents first. This is how the rule came about. Another question from Dylan Elvis. When we consider strength of water, when it destroys houses, trees, in the event of tsunami, isn't it caused by the Patavi nature of water? No, it's caused by the Patavi nature of the earth. When the earth quakes, see, when the earth quakes, it creates this force that created large waves. And the temperature we feel in the water is because of the tajo or the fire element in water. Yes, whenever it's temperature, wherever there is heat or warmth, that is caused by the fire element. Another question from Marudi Agumko, Indonesia. Question number 6. I often experience a sudden emotional explosion. Is this normal? How can I fix this? You have to have mindfulness. The more mindfulness you have, the less explosion of emotion will happen. See? And after you have this explosion, you should use mindfulness to calm your mind down. When you become emotional, you should recite the mantra Bhutto, 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 or do some chanting. This will then calm your emotion down. And if you keep developing more mindfulness, then the emotional explosion will become less and less. Question number 7. I often see bright white light during meditation. What should I do with it? Just ignore it. Don't give pay it any attention, because it can become a distraction to your meditation practice. If you pay attention, then you will not be able to move forward. You will not be able to enter into deep jhana, which is the 4th jhana. Sonato, Ajahn, how to live in the present moment by developing mindfulness. If you have mindfulness, your mindfulness will keep your mind in the present. It will stop you from thinking about the past or thinking about the future. So keep developing mindfulness by either chanting or reciting the mantra Bhutto, Bhutto, or keep focusing on your body activity. Keep watching every movement of your body activity. From Lily Siswanto Ajahn, what part of our body that has the fire element? The fire element is the heat or the warmth, the temperature in our body. So it is not any part of the body. It's just the heat. When the body has to maintain a constant level of temperature. That's the heat level of the body. So, and if we have more than that, if we have more than 96.5 or something, then we have fever. So we have too much heat in our body. So we have to bring it down by medication or by whatever method that is appropriate. From Paul Lim Soon, how entertainment and sexual can interfere with Buddhist teaching. It interferes with Buddhist practice, not Buddhist teaching, because Buddhist practice is to meditate. And if you go for entertainment and sexual activity, then you won't have time to meditate. That's all. So you have to choose one or the other. If you want entertainment and sexual, then you cannot have meditation. Or you can only have very little of the meditation. The goal of Buddhist teaching is to have total time for meditation. That's why if you want to succeed in your meditation, you need to keep the 8 precepts, for instance. Another question from Marudi Agumko, Indonesia. Question number 8. My English is limited. Is there any opportunity that you accept me as your disciple so that I can get guidance from you? I have accepted you by answering your question right now. So if you have any more questions, you can send them in to the assistant.ajahn@gmail.com. If you want, you can follow my live Q&A. You have to set up the notification on your phone to remind you when there's a live broadcast. Then you can then send in your question live yourself. From Miranda Sonato, Ajahn, thank you for the Dhamma teaching. Sadhu, 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 sadhu. Okay, we are 56 minutes in the meeting right now. So we have about 4 more minutes to go. So if you are typing questions, you can send them in after you finish typing. But if you haven't started typing questions, I have to ask you not to type or send them in because I will have to terminate this meeting in about 4 or 5 minutes time. From polling soon, once we are learning and follow Theravada teaching, shall I follow Mahayana teaching also? If they are not in conflict with each other, then you can. But if they are in conflict, then you have to decide which one you want to follow. Another question from Ajahn Suchart, assistant Ajahn Suchart @gmail.com. From Louisiana, what are the requirements to become a monk? Well, you just have to go and talk to the monastery that you want to become a monk. They will tell you all the details that you need to know. From Gleb Allwich, thank you, Ajahn. From Anime, thank you, Ajahn. Okay, we are about finished with this meeting because there are not any more questions coming in right now. But I'll wait for another 2 minutes or so before I terminate this live broadcast. From Lina Gunawan, Anumodana Ajahn for your speech. Lily Siswanto, thank you, Ajahn. Pauline Soon, thank you very much, Ajahn. From NG Kusalo, thank you, Longpo. From Indri Longpo, good evening, Longpo, Anumodana, Sadhu, Sadhu, Sadhu. Well, we have one minute left, so you can send in your goodbye, your thank you if you like. I say my thank you to all of you. I enjoy talking and answering your questions. If I can be of use to you, I'm happy to oblige to sharing the Dhamma and to help you in your practice so that you can test the supreme test of the Dhamma, which excel all other tests, which is better than all other tests. The test of Dhamma excel all other tests. And in order to experience the test of Dhamma, you need to know the proper way of practice. So that's what I'm here for, to guide you or to help you in your practice. From Visakha Lee, Sadhu Anumodana Ajahn for the enlightening Dhamma sharing with Metta. Dealing out with Sadhu, Sadhu. Komnak Sadhu, Sadhu Anumodana. JJ, thank you. Adeline Chin, Sadhu. NG, thank you. Ward Maxley, Sadhu. Meow Meditation, thank you so much. Namachaka Ka Buddhist Community Center, Anumodana Ajahn. Okay, thank you very much for your attendance. for joining this meeting. I hope you keep on practicing and experience the taste of Dhamma that will arise from your practice. May you be healthy, happy, and always mindful. Thank you for now and goodbye.